All right, welcome to our next chapter. We are completely switching gears into geometry, and this is lesson 1 about angle measurements. So some of these things may or may not look familiar to you based upon last year and going into e-learning around this time of year. So we're going to kind of review the basics about angle measurements, and then we're going to get into the part where we apply the algebra to those angle measurements. So when we talk about these, we're going to talk about complementary, supplementary, and vertical angle measurements today. So the first one we're going to talk about is complementary, and hopefully this kind of rings a bell. Two complementary angles are measuring 90 degrees total when they are put together. So when we look at them separately, we can see that the 30-degree angle and the 60-degree angle would then make the right angle of 90 degrees. So moving on to our first 3 examples are all going to be the examples where you basically could look like you're subtracting to get the answer. So we can see that this is a 90-degree angle, and with that 90-degree angle, we have paired it with a 71-degree angle. So 90 minus 71 would give us a 19-degree angle for our question mark. All right, so that seems simple enough, but we are going to make you apply some algebra concepts. So when you think of it that way, you're going to basically be calling the x, or the question mark, an x. And so if I had to write this as an algebraic formula, I would say that the x plus the 71 is equal to 90 degrees. So why you're thinking we're overcomplicated? Well, because in the next set, you're not just going to have a question mark and a degree measurement. So you have to go back and remember that we're really solving equations for a variable. So you can see that the first 2 examples are the same, but I showed my work much differently. So let's go to the 3rd example, and let's show that work with using a variable. So I'm saying x plus 20 is equal to 90. So how did I know to get this equation? Well, because this is a 90-degree angle, and I have the 2 angle parts. So I have my x angle, and I have my 20-degree angle. And so I put them together by addition. And then to solve, we're always using our inverse operations. So I get x is equal to 70 degrees. So looking towards the next 4, you can see that we no longer just have a question mark. We actually have variables with coefficients and constant numbers. So if I zoom into the first one, I'm still thinking complementary means 90 degrees. We have to keep that as part of our kind of our vocabulary definitions. So I have my first angle is 3x, plus my second angle is 30 degrees. And that all is going to equal up to 90 degrees total. So now I have a 2-step equation that I'm solving. So I'm going to take away my 30. That allows my 3x to come down because the 30 is equal 0. And 90 minus 30 is 60. I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides. So my 3's simplify to 1x. And I get 60 divided by 30, or 3 is 20. So that equals your x. That does not mean that your angle equals 20 degrees because you're just finding the value of x, stated in the directions above. Find the value of x. So let's go over to the next one and find this value of x. We still have a 90-degree complementary angle denoted by this little box here. So we have our first angle measure of 8x plus our second angle measure of 7x, all equals together 90 degrees. This is our combined like terms property. So we have 15 total x still equaling 90. We're going to divide 15 on both sides, letting those coefficients go to 1, and I get x is equal to 6. Remember, this is what the x value is equal to, not what the angle measurement is. In this next one, I have a expression as one of my angles. So I'm going to write that expression with its parentheses. My second angle I'm going to add on is 32 degrees, and these are still complementary, equaling 90. I must combine my like terms before I can move on to solve for x. So 6x plus 36 is equal to 90. This should be helping you review all those solving for equation skills. So I'm going to take 36 away from both sides, and I get 6x equals 54. I'm going to divide by 6 on both sides, and x is equal to 9. Moving on, the last one with complementary angles. This one looks much more complex because we can see we have a straight line right here, but when we look closer, our two angles given are actually on the 90-degree mark. So I'm going to say 6x plus 60 is equal to 90. I'm going to take 60 away from both sides. 6x equals 30. Divide by 6 so my coefficients go to 1, and x is equal to 5. And that is it for our section on complementary angles that equal 90 degrees. So we're going to move on to section 2, which is all about supplementary angles. Supplementary angles are different because they form straight lines and are equal to 180 degrees. So you can see here that when we have them apart and we put them together, they share one side along with a 180-degree line or straight line on the bottom. So let's go through some kind of easier examples. So we know that supplementary angles are 180 degrees. We know if we have one angle of 93, we can take it away from 180, and we can get the missing side, or the question mark, which equals 87 degrees. But like I said above, you're going to want to treat that question mark like an X. It could be any letter. We're just going to use X so that we can set it up algebraically. So we can say X plus 36 is equal to 180. I can take away 36 from both sides, and then I can do my subtraction, and I get x is equal to 144. Now in this case, that is our angle degree measurement because it is replacing the x completely. And then our last simple example, if we call this question mark an x, I can say 49 plus x equals 180. Simple one-step equation. I can solve for x. I get 131 degrees. Not everything that you're solving for is the degree measurement. In these cases, they are, because we're replacing the total angle measurement with just that number. All right, so to get into some more complex ones, we're going to take a look at these 4 examples. I might have you guys try a few on your own. They are just like complementary, except for we're applying 180 degrees to them. So we're thinking this has a straight line. So in the first example, we know one of the angles is 2x plus 60. We know the second angle is 6x. So we're going to add those together to equal 180. We can see that we have some like terms of 2x and 6x, which give us 8x plus 60 equals 180. Constant number goes away first with inverse operations, so I get 8x equals 120. I divide by 8 on both sides, and x gives me 15. Remember that 15 is the x value, not the angle measurement. Let's do one more with supplementary angles together. Let's do the second one. So we have 99 plus 3x equals 180. This is just a simple 2-step equation. We're going to take away 99 from both sides. We get 3x equals 81. And we're going to divide 81 by 3. And x equals 27. After the video is completely over, I want you guys to try these bottom ones, and I'll post the answers below this video so you can check your work. All right, let's move on to vertical angles. So vertical angles are, they're not tough, but they seem to give students problems remembering how to set them up algebraically. So two angles that are vertical, think of vertical as up and down. So when you're looking at them, like 4 and 2 are vertical because I can draw a line between them and they kind of connect in the middle. Whereas 1 and 3 are vertical because I can draw a line and connect them. When I talk about vertical angles, they are congruent, so they're equal. There's no degree measurement we set them equal to. We actually set them equal to each other. So some easy examples to think about are the first two. 62 and x are vertical. Therefore, x is also equal to 62 degrees. There's no math there. It's just they're the same. They're congruent. The same thing's going to happen with this second example. They're vertical. Therefore, x is equal to 70 degrees. So when we make them a little more complex, we make them with algebraic expressions. So we're going to do one together, and then I'm going to have you guys set one up and do it on your own. So let's do this one together. These are vertical. So I'm going to say 4x plus 24 is equal to, because they're congruent, 7x plus 3, which leaves you with a variable on both sides. You got to go back and remember, what do I do first? Move convenient numbers first. You and your partner, you and someone else might not solve this the same. I'm going to go ahead and take 3 away from both sides, which leaves me with 4x plus 21 equals 7x. So far, I've really just avoided dealing with a negative. Now I have no choice here. I have to move my x to the other side, because if I moved the 7x, there would be nothing left over to solve with. And I get 21 equals 3x. Now I'm down to a one-step equation where I can do the inverse of division to get x is equal to 7. Remember, this is just the value. We're finding the value of x. All right, you guys try this last one on your own, and then you can look for the answer in the posted notes.